A student prior to that. Afterwards, she got into a little trouble hanging with the wrong people.
For Victoria to have such a close relationship with her father and for him to be suddenly gone in that way, such a traumatic event in her life, would lead her to now look for another father figure.
Victoria's relentless search for love will drive her into the arms of two different men, a sinful situation that leads to deadly consequences.
Victoria found herself living between a man that was controlling her with his demanding demeanor and another man who controlled her through his finances. She's just a puppet.
In Tampa, Florida, 16-year-old Victoria Jackson comes out of a severe depression thanks to the new man in her life, 32-year-old Jeffrey Dampier.
By all accounts, Jeffrey was a pretty nice guy. But you're talking about a 32-year-old being involved with a 16-year-old that was Victoria's age at the time. So you're talking about a relationship that was wholly inappropriate and, as well, illegal.
Jeffrey Dampier was very sweet. He had this glow that would just make you just smile and laugh. And he had a very kind heart.
He bought Victoria lavish gifts. He bought Victoria a car. He paid for her schooling. He was very generous with his funds.
But not only is Jeffrey robbing the cradle, he's also engaged to another woman, Victoria's older sister, Crystal.
I met Jeffrey Dampier at Arkham Skating Rink in Chicago, Illinois. So he came up to the side of the rail of the skating rink and he said, "Wow, will you marry me?" I said, "This man must be crazy."
Jeffrey is a man with $1 million smile and an even bigger bank account.
Jeffrey and his ex-wife won the Illinois lottery and they won $20 million, in which they split it in half and got 10 and 10 apiece.
A jackpot which is being used not only to romance Crystal, but also her little sister.
The relationship started between the two after Jeffrey started dating Crystal and Victoria was brought into the mix, being that she was a sibling.
Victoria was involved in this triangle because it met many of her needs. She had a sugar daddy who took care of her financially, but most importantly, Jeff also played the role of being her father, the father who had tragically killed himself earlier.
If I knew that Jeffrey was having an affair with Victoria, I would have not married him, and I had no clue at all.
After only 1 year of living together, Crystal and Jeffrey get married. And for Crystal's family, it's like hitting a jackpot of their own.
Eventually, he started to support Crystal and her sisters, Victoria and Terry.
2 years into their marriage, the couple moves to Tampa, Florida, to escape the cold of Chicago, and Victoria tags along.
Shortly after moving down to Florida, Victoria moved down, and she stayed with us for about 4 months. I said, well, as long as you're being positive and doing something right for your life, certainly.
Victoria lives the high life, squeezing every penny out of her brother-in-law right under Crystal's nose.
Anything that she needed financially, he gave it to her. And the control that he had was the fact that he had money. And she knew if she needed something, she just had to make one phone call.
Soon, Victoria and Crystal aren't the only Jackson women benefiting from Jeffrey's Midas touch.
Jeffrey moved their sister, Terry, to Florida.
For the next 3 years, Jeffrey ponies up to Crystal's younger siblings' every need without complaint. And by all accounts, Crystal remains clueless about the affair. She's still Jeffrey's happy wife.
I did not know who she was seeing.
I am home.
I really can't say that I seen any difference, but the household was running normally.
But Victoria eventually grows tired of playing second fiddle and gives Jeffrey an ultimatum.
Vicky was very naive when she thought that Jeffrey would leave his wife and marry her. This is classic textbook. Quite often, husbands rarely leave their wives for the mistresses. After all, a lot of them think Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Tired of only being used for sex, Victoria tells Jeffrey she needs some space.
Jeffrey purchased Victoria an apartment. Victoria was trying to distance herself or wean herself away from Jeffrey. Jeffrey was paying for the apartment, so she was still under his control. He continued to control her through his funds.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Victoria rebels against Jeffrey by looking for other fish in the sea, and she is soon catching up with an old flame.
You haven't changed a bit.
Nathaniel Jackson.
Still know the exact things to say.
Victoria knew Nathaniel because they dated each other off and on for about 1.5 years when they both lived in Chicago.
Victoria never really lost touch when she moved to Florida, and they quickly jumped back into a routine of talking and flirting.
Yeah, I know. You should come see me.
The age difference between Nathaniel and Victoria was about 2 years.
She wanted more from somebody and wasn't getting everything she wanted from Jeffrey. He had several arrests for drug possession, for an aggravated assault, some other traffic charges. He had a lengthy criminal history from Illinois.
And Nathaniel's renewed interest in Victoria is no accident.
Nathaniel had some charges associated with money, and here he is now calling Victoria, who he knows is in a relationship with a man who is wealthy.
Nathaniel only has one thing on his mind. And he knows Victoria's lover is loaded, so he suggests the two move in together, and she gladly accepts.
Nathaniel was with Victoria not so much out of love, but because he knew that she had access to Jeffrey's money. So for him, it was about the Benjamins. For Victoria, she was just happy to have a man by her side, having that warm body to keep her company.
Any of the money that Victoria received from Jeffrey, they would spend it together. This was money being given to him by Jeff, so Nathaniel was basically being supported by him.
It doesn't take long before Jeffrey finds out about him. Blinded by jealousy, he threatens to cut Victoria off. Jeffrey then goes to his wife with his intention and a made-up reason to go with it.
We had a conversation regarding giving, and it was more or less he was getting frustrated because everybody was asking, and he felt like the money bag at that time. I told him, don't give to my sisters. Don't give it to Victoria or Terry if they ask, unless it's life or death.
The sisters are less than pleased with the new arrangement, and they're not the only ones.
They were upset, but when Nathaniel found out about it, he was furious. If Jeffrey cut off Victoria, they cut him off. That was not gonna fly.
Now Victoria has to make a choice to stand by her man. But which one will it be? She's about to be forced into a deadly show of loyalty that will cost one of her men his life.
He is pleading for his life, pleading with Victoria not to shoot him, not to shoot him.
In Tampa, Florida, 5 years into their illicit affair, 23-year-old Victoria Jackson's sugar daddy and brother-in-law cuts her off when he finds out about her live-in boyfriend, Nathaniel Jackson.
If Jeffrey cut off Victoria, they cut him off. And Nathaniel was not gonna live with that. That was not gonna fly.
Call him up and get him over here.
Victoria's loyalty now lies with Nathaniel. If Victoria can't have Jeffrey's love, then she and Nathaniel will have his money. The plot is set into motion.
Good. You always make time for me. Cannot wait to see you. See you soon.
Jerry was at the apartment,
All right. Bye.
and Victoria called Jeffrey and asked him to come over to the house to drop off some boxing tickets.
Victoria leads Jeffrey into the kitchen where Nathaniel attacks.
Yo, wait, what? Yo, wait, what do I do? What happened here? Where's the money at, huh?
Hearing the commotion, Victoria's sister, Terry, comes out to see what's going on.
They started demanding money. searching his pockets. It's a pretty scary situation.
Is that it? Is that it?
Jeffrey was carrying a wad of cash, so they took about $7 grand off of him.
Victoria looks on as Nathaniel threatens Jeffrey.
I need you to find me more money or I'm gonna shoot you.
Victoria is caught between her lover and her boyfriend. Victoria disassociated herself from the moment.
Jeffrey has been relieved of his cash, but Nathaniel isn't finished with him yet.
Jeffrey was tied up and they walked him down to his van.
Nathaniel forces the sisters and Jeffrey into the van and leads them on a ride to hell.
Victoria was ordered to drive.
Drive now. Hurry up.
It's quite possible that one of the reasons that Victoria took some sort of revenge against Jeffrey was that he had promised to marry her and instead appeared to be leading her on. So when Nathaniel came up with his plan of robbing Jeffrey, Victoria went along with it.
So when Nathaniel orders Victoria to drive to the location of one of his business ventures where he plans to empty the safe, she complies. But Jeffrey throws a wrench into Nathaniel's scheme.
I don't have any money in the safe in the shop.
Jeffrey told them that there was no money in the safe. Nathaniel got upset.
Pull over now. Pull over!
Victoria was listening to Nathaniel. Whatever Nathaniel tells her, she does it.
And Nathaniel is about to tell her to do the unthinkable.
Shoot him. Shoot him, Vicky, shoot him.
Nathaniel now hands the gun to Victoria and tells her to hold the gun on Jeffrey.
Come on!
Nathaniel turns the stereo up in the van and then starts to yell at Victoria,
Shoot him!
"Vicky, shoot him," repeats himself over and over again.
Shoot him!
At this moment, one can only imagine what was all going through Victoria's head.
Do it!
Victoria's boyfriend was demanding her to put a bullet in her lover's head.
Victoria has a choice to make for her man,
Come on, baby.
whichever that may be.
Now!
Think about this.
Victoria then grasps the gun with both hands.
She put both her hands on the gun, closed her eyes, turned away, and fired.
It's a hot summer night in Tampa, Florida, and Victoria Jackson has just been ordered by one man she loves
Shoot him.
to take the life of another.
Come on, baby.
This whole incident was supposed to simply be a robbery.
At Nathaniel's command, Victoria closes her eyes and makes a deadly choice.
Victoria fired a bullet right into the back of Jeffrey's head.
Jeffrey dies instantly.
Victoria faced a horrible decision. She could have stopped this at any moment. She had that option, but instead, she decided to follow the commands of her boyfriend.
After Victoria shot Jeffrey, all three jumped out and ran separate ways.
At 9:30 p.m., a neighbor discovers the car still running with Jeffrey's dead body inside and calls 911.
911, what's your emergency?
We have a homicide. A van has been abandoned here, like literally just a few minutes ago. A neighbor saw 3 kids get out of the car and take off, and there is a dead body in the car. It's still running.
Deputies from the Tampa Police Department respond to the scene and are alerted to a suspicious woman in the area.
Terry is actually found along the main roadway, waving cars down, trying to get a ride. One of the deputies were able to detain her for further questioning.
Victoria and Nathaniel managed to get a cab to take them to Jacksonville, 170 miles northeast of Tampa. Back at the station, Terry tells police what happened and says she's a victim.
Hurry up, quick, quick, quick. Shoot him, Vicky.
She's in the back of the van, has no idea what's going on. She got kidnapped too. We put warrants out for the arrest for Nathaniel and Victoria. At this point, we notified the media, and their story was highlighted on several news outlets in the area.
2 days later, Victoria and Nathaniel are arrested without incident at the home of a friend in Jacksonville.
Nathaniel had $1,500 of the money that he took from Jeffrey, and the money had bloodstains on it.
Once in custody, Victoria is stunned to learn that the man she killed her lover for is selling her out.
You might want to ask his girlfriend, Victoria.
Your boyfriend told us that it was your idea to rob him and to also shoot him.
I think that Victoria thought that Nathaniel would have protected her and all would have been well.
When police tell Victoria Nathaniel's setting her up to take the fall, she gives a full confession of what happened.
I was told earlier today to call him to see if I can get him to come over.
Okay. And who told you to do that?
Nathaniel Jackson.
Okay. And why did he want him to come over?
To get some money from him, rob him. He started yelling, "Vicky, do it, Vicky, do it." And I just closed my eyes and turned my head and pulled the trigger.
When police allow Victoria to confront Nathaniel, he breaks down and confesses to everything.
So be it. So be it.
A few hours later, police deliver the devastating news to Jeffrey's wife, Crystal.
They come in. They told me that he was shot and killed.
I'm sorry.
No. At the time, I lost it. And the kids heard me, and then they came out, so the house got up in a roar.
Already devastated, Crystal is dealt one more cruel blow when she's told the identity of her husband's murderer.
My first thoughts when I found out Victoria was involved, I was taken back. I was really confused. How could you kill someone who you were benefiting from? So I don't understand. How could you? So, no.
Crystal's suffering increases when she finds out about the affair.
I was really shocked. They started naming items, a ring, places where they supposed to went to. I just lost it because I didn't see it.
He filled a void in her life, and that need superseded the loyalty that she should have had to her sister.
Police charge Victoria and Nathaniel with the murder and kidnapping of Jeffrey Dampier, and a jury shows no mercy.
Victoria was given 3 life sentences for kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, and Nathaniel was convicted of the same.
Jeffrey really took the best years of her life, the early years, the formative years of her life. So when Nathaniel came along and offered a chance of revenge against Jeff, well, Victoria jumped at it because finally she could tell him and act out her anger with Jeff.
Crystal's sister Terry has never been charged with the crime. Destined to die behind bars, Victoria's days are a constant reminder of her brutal betrayal of one love for another.
I don't know if she's truly forgiven herself for what she's done, but I do know that she's facing it every day in a decision, in a choice that she made.
So for Victoria, there was a lot of emotion, a lot of conflict, perhaps some guilt, some anger. All of those things all boiled into one. And in this case, it led to the death of Jeffrey.
I still talk to my sister because I don't want to have a cold heart. I don't want to be holding on to that grudge. So I let go. And I still have pictures of my late husband, and I still think of him. But I believe that I will get my chance to see him again.